If I was the GM, I guess I would trade Bradley Beal, but he's always been my guy on the Wizards. Like when John Wall was, and John Wall deserved it, when he was maybe the top sports figure in town, because this is before the Caps won the Stanley Cup, and he was jumping on the table, and the Wizards seemed to be really close.
Wizards were ascending.
They made it to a
point.
Game 7 in round 2.
Yep.
Lost the Celtics in that Game 7, but they seemed to be on the precipice of something happening. I always felt like Bradley Beal was the better closer.
Mm-hmm.
John Wall did hit that game-winning shot. Not going to take a player, and he's kind of taken over. That it's hard to part with the guy who I think is the best player, because then you're still going to have John Wall on the roster in that contract, that albatross of a contract. But
look, there's no doubt it would be difficult to part with Bradley Beal. I mean, he's had some really impressive years here as a Wizard. But even with John Wall back, at 100% or close to 100%, hopefully, after the Achilles injury, what is the upside as far as wins for this team? I think you just have to move one of the guys, and you're not going to be able to move Wall coming off the injury with the Supermax deal. Nobody's going to touch him. Beal is the only real chip that you have. He's the only desirable piece that other teams want and would give up other assets for. So as much as it would pain me as a Wiz fan to deal Beal, I think that's the move that Tommy Shepard and everybody else in that room is going to have to consider, especially before the draft on Thursday.
By the way, under contract, the Wizards have 5 guys under contract. Wall and Beal.
Yes. Jan Mahinmi.
And Dwight Howard.
Right.
And Troy Brown. Here.
The cupboard is pretty bare here in D.C. That's another reason why I think if you can get a nice return for Beal, you've got to deal him. Because the team's just so thin right now. There's just no pieces here.
Problem is, if you make a deal with the Pelicans, as you said, they're not going to give up the Zion Williamson pick.
Right.
They might give up the number 4 pick in this year's draft. And it seems like people say, those that follow college basketball and the NBA draft, that clearly there's a top 2 in Zion and Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's maybe even a top 3 throwing R.J. Barrett. And then after that, it's toss-up.
Well, then maybe.
So you'd be getting that 4th pick, which would be in that area, like the next level.
Well, if they love, is it Kobe White out of UNC, the guy who loves to play hoops 6 days a week?
Right.
Then if they get that 4 pick, they'd be able to pick him there. They'd just be able to secure him with that 4th pick. Like if they fall in love with him from the workout, they think he's a nice fit because Wall, as you mentioned, is not going to be ready for the start of the season. Then it makes sense.
Or if they like DeAndre Hunter from Virginia.
Could be him, but I don't know if you need to move up to 4 to grab him.
I've seen in mock drafts him drafted as high as 4.
Really?
Yeah.
He's making a move.
800-636-1067 is the number. You have the NBA draft on Thursday. Wizards still don't have a GM, but they worked out a couple guys from Carolina yesterday. Would you trade Bradley Beal to improve the future of the Wizards? Let's go to Walt in Alexandria on line 1. What's up, Walt?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello,
Walt. There are no untouchables now on the Wizards. What they need to do is go ahead and get a general manager, somebody who can evaluate talent, and check all the teams and see who is available that they could get, because they definitely need to restructure the entire group. So if they get a good general manager and they can evaluate talent, and Beal's got to go, even if Wall's got to go, as long as they can get a compatible player to replace him, then I have no problem with that. But let's go ahead and make a move and try to get something done before it gets too late and all the players through free agency are gone. There's nobody available.
Well, Wall isn't going anywhere, by the way. Nobody's going to want him. He's got too big of a contract. He's damaged goods. Even before this latest round of injuries, he was injured last year.
The second he put ink to the Supermax contract, he became untradeable. There's just no way another team would take on Wall at that contract number with his injury history. He's married to the Wizards for the next 4 seasons. So it's a matter of how do you find pieces to fit around John Wall, and you've got your fingers crossed that he comes back close to the player that he was before the injury.
A couple of teams rumored to be interested in Bradley Beal. according to CBSSports.com, the New Orleans Pelicans and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are a team that a lot of people thought was going to be on the rise, and they acquired all of these assets to make deals, but under some sort of wacky NBA deal, they weren't able to present an offer for Anthony Davis until July 1st, where the Lakers swooped in before that happened.
Yep.
And now they're kind of clearly out of those sweepstakes, and so they're looking to maybe make a move. So we'll see what happens. One would think, in terms of making trades, like I'm sure Tommy Shepard and the scouting staff, they're prepared for the NBA draft.
Absolutely.
It's what they've been doing all year, scouting talent, and now they're bringing in guys for workouts. They're probably doing their due diligence, getting the background on these guys, checking the character, and they'll make that pick whether they have a GM in place or not. But one would think that they're looking for a 4 or 5 year plan, and you need a GM who's going to make those decisions like, hey, we are going to ship off Bradley Beal. We're going to start from scratch, and this is what we're going to do. I wonder if Scott Brooks is going to be the guy, because Scott Brooks has been a guy who coached in OKC, a contender for years, in the playoffs every year, great talent, took over this team, which had some talent. First year, they go make a nice run in the playoffs into the second round, and now the team's like potentially going to be gutted.
Yeah.
He's never coached a gutted
You know what the team is? They're floundering. Right now, the Wizards are floundering. There's no other good way to put it. And he's got, I think he has 2 years left on his deal, correct? 2 years left on his contract at $7 million per. I don't see Ted throwing him overboard and eating that contract and bringing in another coach.
Well, if you got the team, I don't think you deserve it to be like. Do you deserve to lose your job because they gutted the team and one of your top stars got hurt?
No. You ride it out with Brooks, and then you figure out who the next coach is after him.
They're going to have to fill out a roster cakes with, let's say they trade Bradley Beal, with Troy Brown, Dwight Howard, and Jan Mahimi.
Well,
now fill out the roster.
I mean, honestly, it could be a 15 to 20 win team,
right?
In the upcoming season.
People who say they're willing to trade Bradley Beal, are you willing to endure that type of pain?
Well, I'm willing to go through that sort of pain. If there is
nobody's going to be going to the game.
I understand that.
Nobody.
That's
that
fine.
Could cost millions of dollars.
Okay, I'm here's what I care about.
Ted probably does.
Ted cares about Ted's money, as he should. He totally should. Here's what I care about: the Wiz having a plan to be good 4 or 5 years down the road. That's what I need. If the Wiz are going to go through a 15 or 20 win campaign, there better be a plan for them to be better 4 or 5 years down the road. I'm not into losing just for the sake of losing. I can lose with the promise of a better day ahead.
Cakes.
Hopefully that's the case.
Would you be down with ball control?
Lonzo?
Look,
all the balls come here?
They trade for Lonzo.
Right.
As part of this Pelicans
so LaMelo
deal.
comes here too?
And then next year, I think somebody said on NBADraft.net, he's third.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
He's going to go play in Australia.
The answer is yes. If the Wiz could get dubs out of it, if they could somehow crest 50 wins with every ball playing in the starting five, I would be okay with it.
50 wins.
I would sell my soul to LeVar Ball for 50 wins.